Welcome to MSCSE TV. Now guys, we've just finished playing Arsenal away. We've just lost 3-1. Now guys, I'm going to talk about the game, and I'm also going to talk about what fans have been saying and reflect on their points of view. And so I'm going to start out by talking about what fans are actually saying. So I was looking on Twitter during the game, and a lot of fans are saying Lampard out. I can see people's frustration and annoyance, and as a fan myself, I feel frustrated and annoyed, but I am shocked that some fans are saying Lampard out. Now, a lot of fans are saying Lampard clearly doesn't have a plan B, a plan C, and this is my take on it. I said I felt like Lampard had an excuse last season. We had the travel ban in place. Lampard could fall back on that and say, well, I haven't got the players I want to be able to work with. This season, Lampard hasn't got an excuse. He's got the players he wanted. And sometimes there's been some conflict in some transfer windows of managers not actually being able to get the players they want due to the conflict between the manager and the board. But Lampard actually did want a lot of the players that he got in. He had an input in that. And you can't fall back on the comment of, I haven't got what I want to work with, because he has. But it's clear that he hasn't really got a plan B now. This isn't the first game we've lost in the last 5 games or whatever. And it's starting to mount up, and fans are starting to get frustrated because we can't see a get-out clause from this. Lampard isn't making the changes, and he isn't making the right decisions, because if he was, we'd be winning games. This team, in my opinion, has the potential to be top of the table, and we're not where we should be. Arsenal, before today's game, was sitting 15th in the table, and we failed to beat them. And we actually embarrassingly failed to beat them. It wasn't just 2-1 or 1-0, it was actually 3-1, and we were lucky to get the only goal of the game that we actually got. Jorginho obviously missed the penalty. Lampard hasn't made the right decisions. Now, I just want to reflect on the missed penalty. Obviously, we were 3-1 down. Jorginho stepped up for the penalty. Werner is actually our first penalty taker. That's our choice, but obviously second is Jorginho. Now, Jorginho has made mistakes in previous games and not scored penalties. Lampard should have had a second backup. Jorginho can't take penalties at the moment, in my opinion. I rate Jorginho as a player, but I will stand there and say he can't take penalties. He's failed to score them, and in games like this, it's so important. You can't be messing up, and he did. He didn't score it. In my opinion, that would have changed the full team's mentality. We had extra time added on to the game. If Jorginho had scored that penalty, the team's mentality would have been so much different. If Jorginho didn't score the penalty, Chelsea just thought it's game over now. They didn't have anything to fight for because they knew they couldn't get it to 3-3. It was just going to be difficult and impossible. They didn't have a fighting spirit. But if Jorginho had scored that penalty, the mentality would have been different. The boys would have thought, right, we've only got to get one more goal. We could actually get an equaliser here and it could be 3-3. And that would have changed everything. 3-2 would have, we would have been able to maybe accept that more as Chelsea fans. It would have been less embarrassing and more respectable if we'd actually lost 3-2. But losing 3-1 is embarrassing considering where Arsenal have been in the table. And no disrespect to Arsenal. Arsenal are a good team. I believe that. And I don't want to sound disrespectful by saying that, but it is embarrassing when you look at the amount of games that Arsenal have lost and our recent form and the games we've lost and seen us lose that. It is quite embarrassing. It's embarrassing on Chelsea's behalf. No disrespect to Arsenal. This isn't a reflection on Arsenal. This is a reflection on Chelsea. It's embarrassing that we lost that game when we have been doing relatively well this season, and actually been in the top 5 of the table. So yeah, that was just really poor today. And it was just goal after goal for Arsenal. I disagree with the first goal. Obviously, some people might think I'm being biased, but I'm not. Even the experts agreed it wasn't a penalty. And again, that maybe would have changed the game, but I'm not going to take away anything from that because we weren't good enough today. I'm not going to sit here and say, maybe that goal, that first goal, if it hadn't been scored, like if that penalty was disallowed, maybe the game would have gone differently. But actually, no, we didn't perform good enough today. Yeah, maybe the ref didn't get everything right today, but we just weren't good enough anyways, and we weren't good enough in our game against West Ham. We weren't good enough in our game against Wolves. We weren't good enough in our game against Everton. That is a fact. We've got to face the realities here. And we are not good enough at the moment. We are Chelsea Football Club. We should be getting 3 points from these games, or at least a point. We are not good enough at the moment. And Lampard is getting it wrong. You can't be losing game after game. And I appreciate that some fans felt I was being negative on Monday night, saying, oh yeah, well, we weren't good enough against West Ham. We weren't. We beat West Ham, but we weren't good enough. Our performance was dreadful. It was nail biting watching us play West Ham. We were all over the place. We weren't organised. We didn't have a real passion, a good mentality. And I actually watched that game today, and I look at the players, and I'm looking at some of them and thinking, are you actually bothered? Like, you don't have a drive and a mentality. I remember, I've supported Chelsea for many years. I remember when Didier Drogba, John Terry used to be on the pitch. They had such a good mentality, such a good fighting mentality and a good spirit. And John Terry would, if like the players weren't doing well, like John Terry would try and lift the side. And some of them players on that field don't look that bothered, and it doesn't really feel like we've got someone in that side that will really lift us in these moments. So yeah, I'm just overall really disappointed because I can't see much changing and improving at the moment. Like, there's so many things wrong. It doesn't mean I'm not Lampard out, but there is so many things wrong. And it's not good enough. Like, we know what Chelsea are capable of and the position we should be in this season. Last season, as I said, we had excuses, but this season we just simply don't. And it's not good enough. So yeah, I'm absolutely gutted. And I just tweeted out, I'm not feeling hopeful for the next couple of games. We've got Villa at home, City at home. How can you feel hopeful for them big games? We all know how good Villa are. We all know how good City are. I'm not feeling hopeful for the next couple of games. Something is going to have to give, you know? We're not good enough. So yeah, I am really annoyed, guys. And you guys don't really see me on my channel like this very much, because usually I try to take positives. But today there wasn't a positive. There wasn't one positive I can pick out of that game today. Not at all. Thank you for watching. Let me know all your match thoughts. What you think. Are you Lampard in, Lampard out? I'm Lampard in. But I can't even believe this debate's been opened up. But it is, because we're not good enough. I'm Lampard in. I will have trust and belief in him and the players, but something has got to change. And my opinion might start to change in the next 3 games if things don't improve. Up the Chels. Thanks.